Oh my god, the Switch 2 is out. The Switch 2 is out. The Switch 2 is out. The Switch 2 is out? I mean, we can still be hyped for this console, right? You know what? I might be over this console. Alright, I'm done with this. Before we begin the video, let's take the time and relax our muscles and mind to what you've heard of the console so far. Free your mind of all negative energies you had and leave it behind. All those rumors you've heard about the Switch 2 are not in the room right now. Sorry, I was getting a bit thirsty, my bad. Did you release all the hate you had towards this console? No? Well, I hope you find happiness in your life because your sorry ass has to be miserable for your entire life without finding love. It's been a few days since the Switch 2 has come out, and for the most part, I've had a pretty good time with it. Wow, this Switch 2 sounds really good right now when you don't have people complaining and crying about it in your ears. Sure, it might not be for everyone, but the console is great. Mario Kart being their main launch title was kind of questionable since it's not really a new game to the majority of the people. That was my first thought too, until I poured so many hours into this game. It's actually cinema how good this game really is. If you could accurately describe what cancer looks like, Mario Kart would be it. Getting hit by everything all at once makes me want to throw my Switch and break it. Out of all the times to get hit, they had to tickle my asshole near the end of the race. Most of the fun I've had on this game are the tricks and jumps you can do on almost every level. There are barely any boundaries around the map, making the movement insanely fun. You're not locked into following the paths you're supposed to follow, like most racing games. One of my biggest concerns for this game though was the open world feature. I thought this was gonna be booty cheeks, but it was surprisingly fun. If my internet didn't go down, I would have not touched this feature at all. Good thing it did. There are a bunch of different challenges to secrets to characters you can unlock through here that make it easier and fun if you're not actively trying to get your gut punched in playing online. Look, I know the majority of people were looking for something else rather than Mario Kart for their first launch title on the Switch 2, and I get it. Some like it and others don't. Now, if you bought the bundle that comes with the game, then it's 100% worth it. Is the game alone worth $80 of your hard work money? Kinda. I've been stuck in between if the game is worth it or not. For the most part, I can easily recommend a game to someone when I would deem it good for the price, but this one is difficult. It's not really the price that I'm concerned about, even though I would love to pay less for a game like everyone else. All it comes down to is if you like Mario Kart. When I consider a game worth it, for me, it really has to be about replayability. The best way to describe this game is that it feels like I'm playing League of Legends. It's replayable, but the only reason why is because all the matches you play are different and the outcome is different too, just like any other PvP online game. I don't want to hear it from COD or GTA players for not wanting to pay a high price for a game. As soon as GTA 6 drops and for some reason the price comes out to $100 for a copy of the game, I know everyone and their mothers are going to bomb rush game stores like it's Five Nights at Freddy's and pay the $100 without any questions asked. I'll fight you guys later about justifying the price for this game, but for now, I'll give you guys my thoughts about the Nintendo Switch 2 after using it for a couple of days and how it's really not comparable to other systems. There are a few things I want to talk about since the release of the console, so I'll start with the first thing that people notice: prices. A regular Switch 2 goes for $450 compared to the first Switch for $300 when it was released. If you ask me, this is a really good price for a console, especially when it is a hybrid and has better specs than the previous console. What people don't realize is that condensing all that tech into a small board is pretty expensive in itself. Building an ITX computer is expensive as hell, so why wouldn't you expect this to be a bit more expensive? The PlayStation 5 and Xbox are these absolute units since it takes more horsepower for them to run newer games to get them on par with a gaming PC. And for the people comparing it to the Steam Deck, y'all actually have tunnel vision. These two things are different from one another. One caters to PC players and the other to console players. Console players don't care about Deadlock or Counter-Strike or even Risk of Rain 2. All they care about is the new AAA title they see in ads and the new COD. As someone who has a gaming PC and a Switch 2, I prefer the Switch 2 rather than the Steam Deck just because I know I won't use the Steam Deck at all. I spend most of my time rotting in my room playing on the PC and I rarely go outside. Personally, the handheld versions of consoles now don't compare to the past handheld consoles. They are too bulky for me to play them in their handheld versions. It seems more like a tablet than anything else. I'm just here for the Nintendo games, man. Stop telling me how I can spend my money. It all comes down to preference. Like I said before in my previous video, you can go watch it if you want. We essentially reached the peak of technology where it comes down to how convenient the console is to the person buying it. Nintendo just has the upper hand since you can take it on the go and hook it up on the TV anytime you want. Google Stadia was ahead of its time. That's all I'm gonna say. Staying on the topic of prices, I haven't seen a single person go through the calculation of game prices from back then to now. With all the complaining that is happening around the internet because Nintendo suddenly priced Mario Kart at $80, people have been going crazy expecting future prices of games to increase too. To be honest, I ain't doing all that inflation calculation crap, so let's grab this price of this game and place it on this handy online calculator. Wow. Look at that. Yoshi's Island is $108 if it was released today. It is insane how much people had to drop for a Super Nintendo game. Games ranged from about $50 to $80 here in the US in the mid-90s. We are so lucky that prices stayed the same throughout the years and people are still complaining about it. I'm not justifying the price increase of games. All I'm doing is showing y'all how expensive it was back then. People had to save their money to finally get the game they wanted or hope their parents gifted them one on Christmas. Please stop complaining. Maybe I have tinnitus this whole time. While most people's worry about the cost of games increased, so did the rumors surrounding the Switch 2. The biggest one was that you had to be connected to the internet the whole time to use the console. I don't know who comes up with these rumors, but I could tell you that half their brain was missing when they made this up. Not only does the Nintendo Switch 2 work offline, but you can also play the games on it without Wi-Fi. Third-party accessories work. I would know because as soon as I opened the box, I connected it to the most chewed out, bootlegged power bank and cord there ever was. I was genuinely scared for my life when I realized I could blow up my Switch 2. This cord will never fail me. Not only do third-party accessories work, but even past Switch accessories as well. You can connect Switch 1 Joy-Cons with Bluetooth. This rumor probably began when we saw that Nintendo could brick it if you change something within the console. The actual problem is changing the screen or battery because the wrong voltage could potentially brick it. So hopefully there's a workaround to using non-official Switch screens. Game cartridges were another huge issue for consumers. Majority of Nintendo fans were concerned about not owning the game and having cartridges that are essentially keys for the download of the game. Half of this is true, considering the developers of the games have the option to go this route of not having the whole game on the cartridge. Nintendo is not forcing developers to have key card games. Talking about the games, you don't really own the games at this point either. At least the games that require the eShop. This isn't new. I want gamers to realize that the majority of games you're buying are just licenses to play the game. PC players should know this by now. Why is everyone acting like this is a new thing that only Nintendo is doing? Every game company is slowly converting users to online downloads. That's what Microsoft has been doing for the past couple of years with the Game Pass. They heavily push the Game Pass down your throat with new game titles being available at release date. And with the partnership with AMD for the new handheld, I could only imagine they would advertise it more than before. Overall, without being a Nintendo glazer, I would only recommend the Switch 2 if you don't own the first Switch or want to play older Switch games at a higher resolution and better frame rates. The Switch 2 basically being a PlayStation 4 Pro is not a big deal as people make it out to be. If I have to explain it again, it's because they have to sacrifice the hardware to fit it as a handheld and a traditional console. Also, the PS5 barely surpassed the current users for PS4. So if you're worried about the Switch 2 not being worth it, I think the PS5 has won that spot. The price for the console is pretty reasonable. After looking at the prices for games back then versus now, I felt indifferent about the Mario Kart World pricing. All the people complaining made me realize that it might be just entitlement. Entitlement is a sickness that people have to go through. At the end of the day, this is a luxury good that people feel entitled to having. Sorry to tell you this, but you don't need a new console to play Nintendo games. You could wait for a sale or not get it all together. Just like Pokemon cards, it is not a necessity to have them. If you want to buy a Switch 2, go for it. No one should stop you from getting something you want, even if it's something dumb. Enjoy what you bought. I know I am after paying only $360 for it. Thank God that I had Pokemon cards to pay for this. I can't wait to be a monkey next month. I'ma have all those bananas in my mouth. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want more of these half-ass videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. See ya. Drink by the